Oh, I'm getting close now. Look out. Heck, I gotta get logged in because they reset my password and haven't put it back.
I ain't the end of the
Oh, I don't even know. Unit.
My name is Margaret Boston. I am from the Ambulance.
I'm gonna be late logging in, boss.
My name is Margaret Boston. I am from the Ambulance. My name is Margaret Boston. I am from the Ambulance FFA chapter in section 2. And I am a candidate for 2020-2021 major state office.
My name is Avery Floaty. I'm from the South Latin
I'm young.
chapter in section 7, and I am a candidate for 20.
No luck.
You have to let me in.
Okay.
I'm ready, but.
Oh, yeah, we're good. Okay.
Also, Jerry, I am not sick, but I did just stuff down some food and kind of catching some coughing and sneezing and all that.
I am not worried. I'm worried. All right, I gotta figure out your last link for the meeting. This one would have been Ross last Wednesday. For this one. Would have come from you. Would have come from Lori. Mm-hmm. And it changed.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have no audio.
Cross communication with Lori.
I am not logged in. Okay. Okay.
And here's that, but it won't hear my voice.
Oh, that's fine. Let's go on the phone.
don't see hardly anybody else on there.
Uh-uh.
If I can click on a different thing where we see more people.
3, 4.
I heard you there, Shelley.
Great, thank you.
Can you send me the link?
Or we do, we have everybody on. Hi Jerry, hi guys.
Ooh, yeah, Darren's not gonna attend and Dane's planting beans, so I think we're in good shape to, I think we've got everybody that's gonna be
Okay.
attending, and we even got one public.
Well, when Alan's ready, we'll have.
It's all the way up.
Coons,
Here.
Melville, Wolf,
Here.
Schnicker,
Here.
Felkamp, Cornett,
Present.
Coleman, yes, 5 of us are here.
Were you texting me?
Nope.
Did he just text me? Steve? Why? We're right here.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Didn't you mute? There's nothing, I'm not making it anymore.
And I'm a candidate, 2020, 2021 major state office. Thank you. Obviously, that's a big day for Mama, but it's also a big day for our chapter here at Altamont. We've only had one other major state officer candidate, and it was in 1984. It was 5 and he did, he won with the medical and won the Illinois State President that year, and then ran for national office. So he's our second one. Reading to second grade child. Reading to friends for
We're incredibly proud to announce that our state advisor, Ms. Stephanie Tomes, will serve as the National FFA Teacher Ambassador for 2021 school year. This is a tremendous opportunity for Mrs. Tomes to develop her skills and abilities and bring new ideas to our community, as well as helping fellow teachers throughout the country further their own careers.
I heard it the first time I was in, but now that I went back in, I can't hear him.
We do have one correspondence. Bear with me as I click through it. School Board and Administration, thank you for thinking of my family and I as we welcome a new baby girl into our lives. Also, thank you very much for the Walmart gift card. I truly appreciate working for a great school district. Thanks again, Jenna Murray and family. Very good.
And we have no guests tonight. Present, how about online? Do we have anyone that we should recognize?
Nope.
All right, well, we'll just move on then. Item 6 is our consent agenda, which is approval of the minutes from the April 13th, 2020 meeting, and also the district financial report. Are there questions or corrections? Seeing none, would someone like to make a motion to approve both of those? Mr. Cornett, has that?
Coons,
Yes.
Melville, Wolf,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes, yes.
Feldkamp, Net,
Yes, yes.
Coleman, yes, motion carries 5.
Moving on to report. 7A would be Mr. Biggs. Would you like to talk to us there? Chris Biggs, you are muted. Would you like to speak with us there?
Text.
You can't hear us? Can we hear you?
Chris, you're up. Can you hear us?
No, I don't have any voice.
I got you. You just put it over.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We cannot hear Shelley at all. We can hear you, Alan, but we cannot hear Shelley.
Okay.
I'll just move over to you when I'm talking.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, Chris, you're
Am I up?
here for Mr. Biggs now.
You are up, Chris.
All right. I really don't have anything this week except for this month, besides something coming down the line from IESA that they're going to start giving us monetary penalties for athletes who are kicked out twice during a season, and also coaches that are kicked out of an event twice during, well, it's a year, not a season. So we need to put in place, at least through our handbook, we've talked, at least administration have talked about putting that on the student athletes and putting that back on the coaches if that were to happen. Now, I've not had anybody kicked out twice since I started doing this, especially kids. So I don't see this coming down to affect us, but I do think we need to have something at least in our handbook, telling the students and the athletes and the coaches that this is going to be on them if we're fined by IESA for this stuff. So only first time it's $100 for a kid. I think maybe there on out it's $100 for kids, but coaches will be $100 for the second time they're kicked out, or first time they're kicked out. Sorry, $100 and then $250 for second. So hopefully by next month I'll have the new handbook from IESA and have all the language in there, and then we can vote on that. But that's all I have for this month.
What do you have for both? Oh, there you are, Peggy. Sorry.
Am I
Peggy,
up?
you want to go ahead with your report?
Sure. Just FYI, I know that Katie Lurkins texted me and she cannot hear Shelley either, but maybe this helps with her being next to Alan.
Yeah, it's the
So,
speaker on my computer over there.
For the high school, no surprise that with the summer stuff, the IHSA had talked about maybe extending the spring seasons and let the high schools decide that. And we made the decision that we are not going to play until June, just because it has a domino effect on other things that are going on with other seasons, and just don't think it's the right thing for our athletes. So right now, all of our coaches are turning in, pretty much just collecting uniforms, and I'll be finishing up their evaluations. The banquet that the Sports Boosters puts on has been canceled. So letters and awards have been ordered, and when they get in, I will get those to the coaches for them to distribute to their athletes. Cheer, I'm recommending that we hold off on having cheer tryouts. There's been some talk through the IHSA and some other organizations that have created ways to do a virtual tryout. I think that is a liability issue for our school. And when talking to other ADs, they feel the same way. I think our best bet is to wait until we can do in-person tryouts before we determine what that team is going to look like. I've been speaking with both of our cheer coaches, and they agree and understand. They're putting out a packet of information. So this way, anyone who is interested in trying out has the information and what they need to know and learn for when that in-person tryout can happen. And then we have a recommendation tonight for later in the meeting for the dance team position. And then once we get that finalized, then we'll talk about and discuss when we're going to have dance tryouts, which I will do this similar to how we're going to handle the cheer. Cross country, at this time, I still have no candidates for our cross country coach position. Asked and talked to a couple people about maybe if they were interested in it, and I guess that's what I'll continue to do, to drum up maybe and see if there's someone interested out there to take that on, hopefully coming this fall. As far as IHSA, they have suspended summer contact days. So the typical camps and shootouts and things that we are in are suspended until the new guidelines come out for how we phase in and when we can do things. There's a lot of questions when we had the athletic directors met via Google Meet last week throughout the state and talked about just concerns and things that are coming up. And there's just a lot of questions and concerns that are just lingering, because until we hear from IHSA, we can't proceed on those, and IHSA can't proceed on them until they get a definition or a clear-cut thing from what our governor's going to say and do. So, and the last thing on my list is that we need to renew our athletic training services with Sarah Bush and sign off on that contract for another year at this time, because we do not have another avenue for CERT training services available to us right now. Any questions for me?
Nope, I think we got it. Thank you, Peggy. Looks like Mr. Hill, you're up.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Our remote learning packets and online resources, they're out and they're done for the year. And we're already receiving those back from the kids, which is pretty good. They're getting those done, they're getting them back in. Of course, we still have another, we have this week and next week. And then we'll go from there and see what we get back, and we'll figure out what we need to get from there, and you know, we'll go from there. Really, the only other thing I had from last week was it was Teacher Appreciation Week, and as well as School Nurse Appreciation Day on Tuesday. And I tried as best I could, and under the circumstances, to give a shout out to them and you know, let them know how much we appreciate the teachers and Ms. Blay for all the work they're doing. It's just too bad we could not do that in person last week. But you know, other than those things, that's about all I have. Is there anything for me?
That's fine.
Mr. Kachuk.
No. I don't know if anybody can hear me. Anybody hear my voice? I know I don't have a camera, and I don't think I have a microphone. So.
Okay, so next, thank you, Mr. Hill. Next on the list would be Mr. Kachuk.
Short and sweet this month. We are looking at a June 6th graduation date. If the governor lets us do it, we will have it in the gym. If the governor doesn't let us do it, we're probably looking at having it over at the fairgrounds. We will work on the details as we get closer to that date. But we're going to be looking at maybe a shortwave broadcast system within the arena, or a pretty large, substantial sound system for that. But June 6th at 1 o'clock is going to be the date and time for graduation. Mrs. Elam is almost finished with the awards assembly. She's working pretty hard on it. I think she's going to finish it up today or tonight, and we should be able to look at that by the end of the week. Mr. Hill's classes are full. That manufacturing class that he wants to launch is immensely popular. And as a result, the only way we can really schedule all those students into his classes is to ask that he teach 7 periods, which is an overload. There used to be language in the contract about overloads, but teachers were taking advantage of it. So it was taken out some years ago. So Dr. Meyerhofer and I have talked about it, and the board, I guess, is going to have to come to some discussion about what a fair compensation would be for Mr. Hill to be teaching that overload. And then finally, completion of student work. We continue to hear about students who have everything done. We can continue to hear from students who are working hard to get everything done. Next week, we'll be turning in computers and textbooks, and we will have a chance to have face-to-face encounters with students who have yet to complete their work. Plus, we are going to be asking teachers tomorrow during the faculty meeting that we have online to give us complete lists of students who still need to complete work so that they don't get an incomplete for the quarter. That's pretty much all I have.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Mr. Kachuk? We will move on to Dr. Meyerhofer.
So several things here this month, if you guys can hear me. We have coming up at the end of this week on May 15th, our bid for our HVAC and junior high roof is closing at 2 o'clock here. That was posted, just so the board is aware, April 6th through April 10th in the Effingham paper, and then it did go out on the Illinois Procurement Bulletin as well. And I continue to communicate with a representative from them weekly, Stephanie. As of this day, though, the only bid that I received so far is from GRP, and I will not open that bid until 2 o'clock this Friday. But thus far, that's the only bid we've received, and that's the HVAC replacement on top of the grade school and then the junior high as well. So exciting stuff. And that was also going to be the project that we received a $50,000 maintenance grant. I've been assured from ISB, as I've contacted them, that those monies have been earmarked by ISB. They're not being spent otherwise. There is, however, going to be a bit of a delay before we get that 50,000, but we will be receiving them. So that was really good news. In terms of food service, we are right on mark for that. On May 1st, we had a pre-bid meeting here. I had Alan and Susan join me for that. We had a Zoom meeting. We actually had 3 food service management companies join us, Aramark and Cirrus, which I had never heard of. They're from Northern Illinois. And then the third was OPA. We had about a half an hour Zoom meeting, just explaining a little bit about Altamont, answering any questions they had, and then offering up an opportunity for any prospective food service companies that would be interested in submitting a bid on June 1st to come and tour Altamont. The only one to date that we have that took advantage of that was OPA. OPA actually came that following Monday, and Susan and I took one of their representatives all around and answered questions. And so the bid remains open until June 1st. At that point in time, any food service management company can contact me with any questions. And that essentially is our role, is to answer questions. On June 1st, they will submit bids. We'll open them here in the office, and then it'll be the board's decision on June 8th with regard to the direction that we're going to go with food service. So any questions on that whole process? Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. You bet. Did that do it? Okay. In terms of technology, there is an update on technology. So last week we posted the position of technology support specialist. That was formerly the position that CJ held for us first semester prior to going to Vandalia. It was a couple weeks after Christmas. The decision was made to move forward with Q&S for this semester. They've been here in that capacity, but after meeting with the admin team, the decision was made to put the job posting out. We are going to interview, and at that point in time, reassess where we are with that position, with 2 options. One being going with a prospective in-house candidate, or 2, making a decision to move forward with Q&S for next school year. The job actually closes this Friday. Yeah, May 15th, and it was posted. When do we have a decision on contract with Q&S? Sometime this summer. Yeah, we'll need to make a decision sometime this summer for next school year. Yeah. You know, prior to COVID-19, I felt very positive about Q&S. COVID-19, they've been non-existent. And that's their company's policy, I've been told. They're not to physically be in buildings. They're working strictly remotely now due to COVID-19. So I guess 2 answers there, Dane. Before COVID, pretty happy with them and their follow-up time. Yep. So, across the board with your team? I think opinions vary. I think that having an in-house person for the duration that we had him is hard to overcome in some people's eyes. Yep. But application period is over the 15th. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it closes. So then we'll interview. We've had 2 interested candidates thus far. We'll plan to interview those candidates next week. Technology support specialist. As a salary post for that or anything yet? No, I just indicated a contact me with regard to salary. on what
Yeah.
range of people we'll see.
CJ was 35-ish, but he was also fresh out of college.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
I missed a little bit of the conversation.
Mhm.
Provide the rundown of the financials that we spent on IT this year. I think we really need to have further.
Yep.
We need to delve a little deeper into this. Questions or concerns or thoughts on where we are on this?
So this particular position, just to give the board an idea in terms of the monies that were allocated in this direction. So CJ essentially worked with us for a half a year before he accepted the position. And we paid him $19,739. The consultant help, yes, that Mr. Niehaus has offered over the course of this year amounts to $3,850. And in two different contracts over the course of this year with QNS, the first one was half of the initial contract that the board signed about a year ago to provide supports for our two new technology folks. So we paid him half of that contract. That was $5,000. Then the decision was made in the short term to go with QNS for the remainder of this year. That total is $24,000 for a grand total of $52,589 total for this year.
What'd you
So-
say, total lot?
Pardon me?
The total lot.
Yes, 52,589. Yes, for this year.
The opinion I can offer, I think you're gonna be between 45 and 60 to find somebody that you're gonna be wanting to keep, okay? That'd be my opinion.
We paid them 5,000 initially,
Or the QNS, correct, for the first 6 months. Yes.
5,000 a month for the first.
No, 5,000 for the first whole 6
All
months.
right, so I thought,
Yeah.
then it was 4,000 a month after that.
24,000 for the rest of the year. Yes,
Okay,
through June 30th.
and then
Yes.
add up to 52 though.
You're adding the 24 and the 5. Is that what you're adding?
Yeah.
Plus the 21.
Pardon me?
Take your paper down.
Oh, okay, you're using 20, you're adding there 52,000, that's add CJ's in too then. All right, I'm sorry, I didn't follow you on that, that's okay.
You can look at that now. Yeah.
Sanitize before you send it back.
Okay, all right, I
That's
understand,
okay.
I understand now then, that's fine.
Okay.
That's a good number to know.
Yeah.
The reason why I wanted to pause and discuss a little bit further, when we start talking about piecemealing $52,600 in services, we can have a nice employee. So I want to make sure that the board is aware that we are piecemealing
$52,600 here, there, and everywhere. And it's been our feedback that while we were in school, we received good service,
Mhm.
average service from QNS. But as we have been out of school, trying to function remotely, we've received almost none.
Yes.
And you can make a good case that we've needed them more in the last 2 months than we do when we're in session. I'm very concerned about this. In the past, we've had a hard time recruiting and an even harder time holding on to IT people because our salary was too low. So I wanted to make sure everyone is aware that we are spending a fair amount of money for services that we're really not. We wanted the board's impression of potentially offering a higher salary to try to improve our stability in our IT program that has not been stable for a while. Thoughts there?
When you're looking at that person full time 1 year, you know how much they could have been doing right now during you've got people out of the way of computers, you've got opportunities to do so much preventive things. So I would agree, we need to have somebody on site and in a reasonable way. Like I said, you're gonna be between 45 and 60 to get somebody that's going to be knowledgeable enough to come in and start walking through the wall.
So as we begin to look at the budget, in regards to a lot of things that are going on in the state and in the association negotiations, there's lots of reasons why we're really, assessing the budget right now. But, I'm glad to hear that you're interested in keeping that $52,600 locally, potentially on one full-time employee. It sounds to me like we could potentially post a salary of
I took a range, because it's gonna be based on
45 to
knowledge.
65. I don't want to break.
Yeah, you don't step above, you have to, but that'd be a good range to put out.
So a concern that has been expressed in the past on this area is that we need to make sure that we have someone that has either the experience or the education commensurate to what our teachers have. And that's, I just want to make sure that I make that statement very clear, that we recognize that starting teachers don't make $50,000. And so we need to be mindful that we've got to recruit a quality, experienced and or higher educated potentially. We just want to have that in our minds, that we want to be mindful of the salaries. On the other hand, I've heard from several teachers that they really want to see us improve our technology and have better stability there. I know Lori feels that way as the coordinator. So I think that we can make the case that we're actually offering a better service to our teachers by upping the salary and trying to get a little bit more continuity for them. Are there thoughts on that or anything I'm not seeing? Okay, so potentially posting a $45,000 to $55,000 range.
I think you should put the low, I think you should put the low down and starting teacher.
34.6, yeah.
Low down starting teacher, you wanted to put a
Like
high,
36?
range, a higher number for somebody that, and you want to put a high, range and put a higher number for somebody that comes with a lot of experience or whatever.
Well, my concern is that a 34-6 teacher is a 9-month position. This is a year-round position. So if you do the math, that 34-6 becomes 45.
Okay, base it out on that.
Yeah.
And it was, add the addition of that. But you can't go back down. Once you post it, you're
Right.
stuck.
But the problem we've run into the past, Alan, is we're not getting any candidates. With not posting anything or posting a 30,000 range, no one's interested in our position. So I was hoping that we would increase our recruitment, maybe change the caliber of our applicants if we set that floor of, hey, we're worth looking at because we're going to offer you at least 40, 45, whatever.
Send a message to the applicants that if they know what the job market is for their job, and this one school is close to 5 or 10,000 below what they know the market is, just gonna make them question, we're going to work with that employer, they're questioning, how much is that employer really gonna value? If I negotiate it to the mid-40s, that they really don't want to pay anything below them, they can never apply.
And we are having trouble getting applicants. So we had a lot of applicants.
No, we just start that low, looking to get a guy straight out of college that doesn't have the experience, and both of them really need. So and there's nothing wrong with stating a number, but I'm telling you right now, it's low, 35,000. We don't want to.
No, we need some experience, and we need someone that's going to stay.
That's the big thing. We need somebody, that's the big thing. We need that
I feel like, correct me if you feel differently, but I feel like we've done our due diligence. We've gone down many paths. We've tried very, very hard to keep this affordable. We've looked at a lot of things and tried to be very frugal in our approach. And we're just at a point where we've got to spend money. It's better to spend it on an individual that we can bring into the district and try to keep them. Nothing against the companies that we've worked with, but it's not working out as good as we'd hope. So, shall we post and see what happens? Okay. We're not actually voting on the position yet. Well, do you want us to make a motion to post in that range, or let's post it formally and see? We have to hire them anyway. I think procedurally, we're okay there, don't you?
Procedurally, I think we're fine.
We'd rather-
We don't have to put a motion in.
Pardon? It was already I think they operated under it was already positioned. It was a position that already existed. They didn't create a position, and we hadn't officially. I think that was their rationale. Okay. So let's proceed with that, shall we? I'm trying to think what else I need to say.
Monitoring the situation, continuing to monitor the situation, hourly. We need just wanted to make the board aware that we are content monitoring the situation and continuing to monitor the situation hourly. We meet as an administrative team every Monday morning. We have during COVID-19. One of the things that's a standing agenda item for us is planning for next fall. And we're all hopeful that we're going to be able to start next fall with in-person instruction. We want to be prepared for the latter if we don't. So that's what we're doing. One of the things that we're going to push out in the next couple of weeks is a community, a teacher, and a student survey. And we're going to look for input on how we can continue to grow and improve. I can't say enough. I'm happy with the effort, hands down, with our staff. Again, with zero prep, people have stepped up and done an amazing job, and I can't say that enough. But there's always room for growth, and there's always room for improvement. So we're going to take that data and feedback from those surveys, analyze it as an administrative team, but we also plan to meet with our two leadership teams this summer to continue to spell out a plan. One of the things that we know we want to do is provide a template for teachers next year if we were to start in a remote learning situation where we provided more specific guidance and there were more consistency offered to kids. One of the things that we found is between our teachers, just like their personalities differ, there's a wide variety of approaches that are happening. We want to tighten that up, tighten that ship up, make certain that there's consistency there that's offered to our kiddos next fall if we do happen to start in that capacity. If we do start in-person instruction, we're going to spend a lot of time reviewing, a lot of time planning, more time than what they typically do in terms of for our children. So just wanted to update the board with regards to what we're doing with COVID-19 to start next year. That's pretty much all I have in my notes. We're blessed to have hired our 3 teachers that we needed for next year. Already have them secured for all of this. Marissa McDowell in first grade, just a reminder, Jordan, she's our junior high school math, and then Casey Sanders in 6th grade. So I feel like we're in a really good place there with having teachers. So very happy about that. Contingency with regard to
situation on happen the first day of school next year, are we just get the students gonna be here or not? And I mean, I know nobody knows for sure, but just if there's a chance that what do you plan? Not like one thing I didn't sure don't know is if they get internet Surveys of the parents, could you not include that?
Peggy,
Have-
I'm gonna pick on you. What are you hearing from your teachers? You're muted.
Do we need to kind of
Can't hear me?
be conscious of that at the same time?
Peggy, we're interested in what you're hearing from your teachers, and you are muted, Peggy.
You mean with
All right, I
regard to
just
Wi-Fi?
unmuted. I didn't hear what, are you asking me what I'm hearing in this meeting? Because it's really hard.
We see you, but we don't
I'll
hear
be
you.
honest, it's awful right now, following along. Is that what you asked, what we're hearing now, Alan, or did you ask me something else?
No, what we're asking is, how are we doing on coverage for the students? How many, what percent? Do you have an idea of how the students are doing with internet access?
Well, the ones that we have and we made contact with, I think we've made it clear that it's available to them. If it isn't available, they are getting packets. Teachers are emailing Nikki, and then Nikki is making copies, and those parents are bringing them in. And we have even students who prefer the packet over using their internet. So we've been providing that, and I think that helps a lot of kids out. But I would say the majority of our kids do not have, there's only, I would say, a handful of kids that are having trouble because of internet issues. Jerry, what do you think?
I would agree. The last time I looked at teacherese, it seems like most of our students have gotten something done. Some of our students have gotten everything done, but I would say that we have more students than I'm comfortable with that have not done a thing.
But I don't think that is.
I'm sorry. Is part of our plan, if we would have to go into this mechanism in the fall, we're going to have to create a schedule or something for students who need assistance in how to utilize the online format. Whether that's a one-on-one or it's 2 or 3 students social distancing in a room, we're going to have to provide some kind of tutorial for families or children who are struggling with this. Can you guys work to try to build that in your plan?
If you're asking me, I think yes. I don't think that's a problem.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can use the school building. We just have to be very cautious about how many and social distancing and cleaning. So I want to make sure we're reaching out to any of those families having issues and get them in here and let's get them connected somehow, create some kind of system for them.
Right. And I think in the beginning, there probably was more issues just for the sheer fact that the teachers had no chance, there's no preparation for where the teachers could tell the students how to access, where to access, and then what the students actually see on their end. And when some of those gaps were fixed, or we figured out what the actual students were seeing on like Academy and how that got back to the teachers, that helped and kind of alleviated some maybe anxiety and stress that kids are having of trying to figure out the whole e-learning thing. I do think we're in a better place. I do think that it would help to have that would have been nice to have a little tutorial beforehand. And if we do have to do remote learning in the fall, then I'm sure we can come up with something like that.
Thank you. I'm sure we're fixing problems one at a time, right, as we uncover them. Thank you for what you're doing. Other questions?
Yes. Okay. On the back and the real quick, I would guess I got confused on that. We're not about how old the back. I'm just on I got it over and then correct. Very good. Very good. And just on that list there, RFP, yep, that is, all that stuff state mandated, and you do it that way with, saving contract. That would have been broken down. The RFP, yes. That is all that's state mandated, we do it that way with the energy saving contract.
It is. It's a
I know that
couple-
would have been broken out, and it's a bit about the contract on energy savings, and I have to pay if I don't need it and all of that. I mean, you read through that, but that's all mandated contract on energy savings, and I have to pay if I don't need it and all of that. I mean, but that's all mandated.
It is a generic, still bid on it, yeah. I mean, anybody can still bid on it. A local person can still bid on it.
It wasn't broken down in this one product. It was all. Right, yeah, I think that's, they have to be done. Right, yeah, I think that's, they have to be done in conjunction, that is, I think, that, Mr. Witt said that was. I got that.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know,
It is.
I got that.
Yeah.
I don't know, to me, I read through that, it's like, well, I don't know, maybe this turns a lot of people off, especially like, well, they MERS or the aircon company up there, they look at that like, well, I use roof, I don't want an air conditioner, or, I don't know, I'm very disappointed that we don't have local contractors apply for it, I only have one, I guess, right?
So,
So someone remind me, I guess I naively, sorry, trying to remember, doesn't GRP sometimes subcontract locally? Because GRP is the project manager, right? They don't actually bring in their own work crews for everything, yes?
We have had luck with dealing with them, though, have there been some problems? I mean,
there was a lot of noise.
There was a big dust up several years ago, and I don't know that it was ever really founded. There was a lot of concern about they're the only people that do a lot of these projects. That's not their fault. If no one else competes against them, they win a lot of bids. We here at Altamont have had good service with them since I've been on the board. They did the grade school, turned out fine. They did the playground. I mean, we keep opening it up to other people, but if other people don't bid, that's not GRP's fault. They've always been pleasant, easy to work with, and really responsive to administration. I know Jeff got along with them well, and Steve, did you have any issues?
I've had, there's history, I don't know. I don't have a problem with somebody qualifying to provide a bid. I just want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity.
Sure.
That's all.
Me too.
Who does, on the fair play.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know how you guys know me. I really would rather do everything locally and keep our money here. But sometimes these things are just set up in such, like Mr. Shoemaker is indicating, they're just set up in such a convoluted way that it takes these big companies to get the contract, and then what we have to try to encourage them to do is use local subcontracting and labor. So I guess we can get more information from them on that, but I know they have done that to them in the past.
I do like the idea of being able to break that project into pieces that might offer opportunity for others. If we have that ability, that's great. If we don't, we don't.
Okay. Anything in particular you would like him to follow up on?
If it's mandated that you do that, I know, I mean, but if, if it's some way that, like I say, that you go open up two different bids, or, and then the roofer and the air conditioner, the heating, air conditioning people that would have to work together to get about. But I don't know, I rather do it, I mean, it's probably scary, a lot of people off trying to. Well, this sets the scope of our project.
Alan, actually, he's the one that looks at the scope of the project particularly. I mean, I start with it, but I'll be honest, I mean, I send it very quickly to Alan to review. That's his wheelhouse. I don't think, and I mean, two people technically could bid on it, and if the board decided to hire two different, it doesn't have to be one person. The way GRP does it, if we had a roofer and an HVAC contractor that decided to come in to do it, there's no reason why the board couldn't decide to do it that way. I remember the GRP was performance based, and it would be in our benefit to have them consider the AC side of it. I don't think that they would be as obliged to doing the roof side of it if one preferred
outside of that.
Do we need them to come in and talk to us again? They've been very great about doing that. Anytime that we've had these kind of questions, they send somebody right down. I'm trying to think of her name, Laura. Laura is wonderful at explaining how they go about their process. We can ask them about subcontracting locally. Do you want us to see if Laura can, because we're not voting on it tonight. We got to wait for the bids to come in.
Right.
Do you want me to see if she'll come in June and talk to us more about their process?
Things that they're supposed to be doing on the job, opposed to little kind of specialize on one thing or the other. So I just think what you would envision really break out. I think we see cost saving, maybe not, but
I think
that's all it's getting at.
now this is just what I inherited. This happened prior to me being on the board, but there was a lot of conversation a few years before I started, and they looked extensively at engineering fees, architectural fees, insurance, all kinds of professional fees that are included in any time a school does these projects. And when they looked at doing them separate, you remember Mr. Holland is very, into local contracting. I mean, he was in that business and, things. So I remember they looked into that quite a bit, Mr. Fricknick and Mr. Holland, and that they were both very firmly of the idea that you couldn't do it cheaper by breaking it out because it made redundancy in the contracting, in the licensing and the certifications and the things you had to do. It built, because we did that like on something with the track, we spend a ridiculous amount of money over what we would have because they went that way. So I know Jeff and Jim were they preached that mantra over and over that we've been down that path. It cost us a whole lot more money. That's why these companies exist, because they're able to streamline the permitting and that. So I just inherited that. That's not firsthand knowledge of mine.
I remember mainly what I remember was
Architectural and engineering.
Project, I don't think.
Doesn't have-
The roof is just a roof replacement. I mean, like I did Mid-State up for the City Hall here in Alamo. They did that. And now I don't know about the HVAC, whether there's any architectural work or anything, any changes need to be made there other than a replacement or no.
I don't believe so on the replacement of just the one unit. So.
Isn't there permitting and things though, like when they use, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I just inherited that. I just wanted to pass it on. We can check into that more with them too. They have a long history in it. Perhaps we should ask Jeff or Jim.
They're right on the big projects, involving architects. That's part of the discussion I don't know. I don't know what the connection is on these small ones.
Not either. That's the only background I have. Building's not my forte, but. Okay, so pass forward on that, or we need to do anything at this point, or we're gonna wait and see what the bids come in at, and you're gonna do some homework on it and give us a recommendation?
Yeah. Would you like me to contact GRP or no at this point? Okay. So just update the board after the bid closing. Okay.
Hang on, Jerry's sending us a update here. Can I share this, Jerry? Can I share this? No,
Sorry, say that again.
Pardon?
Did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Is it okay if I share this update?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jerry would like us to know that for the record, we have 119 students with missing assignments in the fourth quarter, but 54 of them, or 45%, are missing 2 or fewer classes. So 27% are missing work in 3 or more classes. Not as bad as we've heard from other schools. So he's wanting us to know that we are actually on par or a little better than what the other schools are saying as far as engagement with students. And I like it that 27% are missing work in 3 or more. That's a quarter, which for being thrown into the situation we're in is not horrible. That we'll have to look into that for those students in the fall. Thank you, Jerry. That was helpful. I don't have anything else from a board report perspective. You got any questions for me before we move on to the next item? I'm good. Yeah, tired of COVID, but aren't we all? All right. So we can get through a few items of old business, and then we're going to pause between C and D and go into closed session to do some negotiations talk and hit a couple items, and then we'll come out and finish the meeting.
Yes.
Okay? So old business item A is the financial consultant contract renewal. I think we were going to table this till next month, right? We were looking for some more information on that. I asked Steve to give us some more items, more information about deliverables. What had we accomplished already? What were the goals that we have with continuing with a consultant? So if you'll give us more time, we'll have better and more extensive information there. So any objections? I'd like to make a motion to table that to the June meeting.
Yep.
And Mr. Cornett has seconded that. Table to June. Do we have to vote when we table? All right, darn it. Let's see, can you get this first and second?
Second to type up.
Okay, you take your time.
I am. Okay. Coons.
Yes.
Hello. Wolf. Shoemaker. Elking. Cornett. Coleman. Yes. There's 610.
Before I forget, there is already some information. I talked to Steve about this yesterday. There is already some information in your email, but we just didn't have adequate time to look it over, so we're going to extend that. Okay, item B is the legislative update. This is a discussion item. We saw that stuff last month, yes? And let's see where we at on it. Yeah, anybody got any questions or anything about it? Oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking we were talking about the press release, the legislative update.
We're not in session and may not.
Anybody see the update?
Not in session, not in session.
Anybody see the update today from the Illinois Supreme Court?
Oh, that they take the appeal?
As I was walking out the door, my family was telling me that the Supreme Court ruled to limit Pritzker's overreach. That he won, whichever one was before the courts today. So I want to Google it while we're here. But evidently, unless something changes, we'll be opening by the end of the month. Not the school, but the community. Anyway, that was what I was being told as I walked out the door. There was a headline also on the local news, but I didn't get to see it.
The one that I knew about was where, in response to Bailey's lawsuit, the governor had appealed to the Illinois Supreme Court to get clarity that he can renew every 30 days, that it's not a conflict. And that one, the Illinois Supreme Court said, nope, you're not jumping over the appellate court, go back down to the appellate court first. That would be different from what you're doing.
Yeah, I said it wasn't me, it was my people telling me. So we'll have to look more into that, and hopefully we'll get some good news. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, any other legislative update people want to give us? None right now? All right, the 2021 school calendar is an action item. It's in our packet.
Yep.
You want to talk to us about it?
Yeah, the calendar committee and I worked on calendar remotely instead of meeting in person. If you had a chance to look at it, it is very, very similar to the calendar that we are currently running, including parent-teacher conferences. On the second page, there's a list of important dates there as well. So it includes all the requirements, including 176 attendance days, also 180 teacher days. It was collaboratively developed with the calendar. Same group as we had last year.
Questions about the calendar for next year? So, in the interest of being barbecued on my way home, how does this affect if we were to have conversations about moving away from a block schedule? It wouldn't affect student attendance days, right? It might impact length of days?
Wouldn't. So the number of minutes per week would remain the same, and the number of students. If the high school calendar, if
the high school calendar were changed.
So we can approve the calendar, and we're not thinking of changing any kind of block this year anyway, but we have begun to discuss that because we're running into such collaboration issues. And as we move forward with online learning and collaborative learning and working with other schools, the conversation we have to have, I know it can be unpopular with some people. So I'll just take it on me, I brought it out.
But I
We're
think,
having the conversation. But I think, according to what you're saying, I'll need a motion to approve this calendar. Unless you have an objection. You might want to second this calendar. All right, Mr. Shoemaker, you might want to second the calendar. Mr. Millville?
Coons,
yes.
Melville. Coons. Wolf.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Wolf. Shoemaker.
Yes.
Belkamp. Shoemaker. Knapp.
Yes.
Belkamp. Coleman. Cornett.
Yes.
Carried. Yes, 6-0.
All right. All right. I need a motion to move into closed session. Mr. Cornett would like to do that. Do I have a second? Mr. Whoever, whichever one.
Mr. Millville,
I think had his up first.
Going
8:05,
into closed
8:05.
session At 8:05.
Let's take a quick break, and then we will. For those of you that are online, we will be leaving you briefly, we'll be closing you out of the meeting, and then we will resume this meeting after closed session. So if you want to stay with us, we'll let you back in.
Yeah, I can open one.
One that also message is just, once you bring up the turn down, to review whether the government can have consecutive 30-day works. Okay, so Chris Good, who is Attorney General, provided this report to hear the case to see whether the governor is limited to one 30-day period or can be multiple.
Okay.
And the Supreme Court, they didn't rule, they refused to accept it.
Okay.
Because they were skipping the appellate branches.
So the lower court said that he doesn't have that.
So the circuit court said that he does not have that power.
Right, and that's where we're at now.
Correct. And so that's what we're still at. They will appeal it to the Illinois Appellate. But they tried to skip the appellate level and go straight to the Supreme Court to get mass action. Supreme Court said, nope, not touching it.
Gotcha.
Go get channels.
Thank you. Yeah, everybody close out of that meeting. And take a potty break, and then we'll log into the other, who's doing remote? We don't have any board members.
I'll check when I come back.
Yeah, so we don't have to log into anything for COVID.
I'm still logged in, but I don't have a microphone or camera.
I don't either. It's kind of hard to do those.
None of our computers.
I do.
Where's Darren?
He has to work until I think he gets off here in 2 minutes. He's on patrol. He's gonna try to come in as soon as he can, depending on if he got a late call. He might not make it. He's gonna try.
What we got here, Miss Fancy?
I don't know. That's the new laptop bag.
Oh, boy.
Chromebook. I'll bet that's what it is.
Yes. This Dell thing.
But well, heck, I don't know, Dave. That's a great question. But my bag is empty, so I'm like, where did it go? Mercy. Hi, Jerry. Somebody told me to reach out.
Okay, here's the deal. We're at options. The Cylons have got us pinned on this rock, and our only way out of here is to hold this place until Galactica can send a rescue party. So I've divided you into 2 teams, okay? Team 1 is going to be distributing ammunition throughout the camp. Team 2 is going to be making homemade Tillium mines. I know that's not glamorous work, but we're going to need the extra firepower in case the Cylons decide to take a shot at us. Look, I know some of you are scared, and that's okay, because I'm scared too. If we keep our heads and we do our jobs, we can do this. We can all get out of here in one piece. Now, Barrelay has a list of your names and your assignments. Make sure you get with her.
This checklist is designed for the board to use a request for proposal process. Outside use.
Got it.
I put to be easier to use the justification for what language use.
On the attorney one?
Yeah, it's usually request comment. Rewritten to incorporate numerous style updates and corrections in response to its 5-year review. So this is already in the place for style issues. So that's a non-issue.
Okay.
And let's see, 125. All right, compensation and expenses, let me go to justification first.
What was that number, Carrie, that you just read? We got the 2.16.
125.
125.
At the end of the section, request plus comments are, comment 1, required by the Grant Accountability and Transparency Act. Boards are required to follow this subhead policy. And then additional requirements for travel expenses charged to federal and state grants. So they've added some new language per rule changes.
The moral of that story is if you're gonna travel, if you're gonna turn in, or if you're gonna do anything that requires compensation, read the policy before you go. Right?
Yeah.
All right. I make a motion to accept the press update second reading. Is there a second to that motion? Mr. Shoemaker? We call the roll. We've had them for a couple of months. I read them when they very first came, but I didn't.
Higgins.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Camp. Yes. Cornett.
Yes.
Coleman. Yes. Motion carries
Thank you.
6. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
7-0.
Item G, delegate assembly resolutions. We don't have any this year. I don't feel like anybody's inclined to do one, so we don't have any action there. The summer help potential hire. The administration would like to recommend that we hire Nicholas Kachuk to help out for summer help. Maker of the motion to hire. Mr. Campbell, Mr. Cornell.
Sorry guys, I gotta do some typing here. I just got approved summer help, so putting a name next to it.
Oh, yep. You want me to spell the check?
I got it.
You're pretty good. I have to look at him.
Yeah, I got it.
Evidently, he doesn't have to spell it either because he can't read it on the phone. He just stays TK.
Coons.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Camp. Cornett.
Yes.
Coleman, yes. Motion carries 7-0.
All right. Item I is the high school commencement date change. And the administration would like us to officially, we talked about it last month, but they would like us to officially accept June 6th for the ceremony. And that will be done according to the federal and state guidelines at the time, the changes. So we're going to graduate them that day one way or another. I seriously doubt if we will be allowed to have a huge thing in the gym. That would not be the safest thing to do, even if they allowed it. Fresh air is better. We have 2 things on the table. They've done the legwork, and I really love the idea of going to the fairgrounds, nice and open. We're blessed to have that close by. We could easily line them up. We could easily broadcast, and they could come through and get diplomas and parade around town. So the administration's working on all the details of that. We need to just let them do it. The other one, though, that is on the, if the public health department would allow us, they're also looking at doing lawn chairs and blanket things on the track, the soccer track. and then put the students that are graduating up in the stands. We have 50, I think, so they could do like 5 groups of 10 up in the stands, fresh air, whatever, and then it would be like a picnic kind of event. We just have to limit the number per student so that it didn't fill up the whole area. So one or the other, we're going to get them graduated. I think the kids are super excited about having some kind of event that is not digital. The word I have is that they just want to have something where they process whatever.
The families would too.
Yeah. So both those ideas are beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I'll make that motion of June 6th at 1 p.m.
All right. Anybody else have a senior? Okay. You and Milton.
The talk right now is area there, information on that, but
We'll just set them up, right, and be off the road. Yeah, they're gonna, and they can process around, right?
we could possibly do that.
I wanted to do it like an old-fashioned drive-in movie.
Yeah.
You know, have everybody pull up out in the pit and park their cars, and then be up in the stand and we'll load it out.
They're talking about doing that over at Newton for the Newton.
Wouldn't that be
My
great?
niece was graduating over there, they're gonna do it the drive-in theater.
Can't see half the grants and food because they want, they got food teachers on.
Yeah.
Oh, darn. Oh, well.
The way we want to do it is where the carnival goes, and then we've got that pretty well rocked, so we'll.
But we have a motion and a second. You wanna call it?
Coons.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Wolf. Shoemaker.
Yes.
Feldkamp.
Yes.
Cornett.
Yeah.
Coleman, yes. Motion carries
Just an
7-0.
update for the rest of you guys that might not be in the loop. The town has approved, the city council approved to hang banners, to let us hang banners. If you want to donate, it's $35 per student. They have to buy their own, or the family has to buy their own poster thing. And then they're gonna put them up on the Christmas decorations downtown. They're gonna hang one up for each student. $35 a student, although they are taking donations to offset the cost for some students. So I'm really proud of the town for doing that. Really nice.
Amanda
Amanda
Miller,
Miller is
the one that comes here. to work.
coordinating
Yeah.
that. If you just let her know how
Yeah.
much or whatever.
She's got some kind of Facebook / account that she's doing. So
I also appreciate whoever did the really nice class of 2020 on the, that looks really good. Okay, bread bid, milk bid. We only got one of each, right?
Correct.
Gray Farms and
Gray Farms and Aunt Millie's,
the one we always have.
ones we always have.
Did they go up?
Yeah. They, to my knowledge, no, they are 28 cents across the board. Chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, and orange green on Gray Farm. And then the bread beds I sent as well here. White, hamburger, hot dog, and steak. Susan thought they seen it in order, as what we've always received.
All right, then I make a motion to approve the bread bid by Aunt Millie's.
Aunt Millie's, yep.
Is there a second? Mr. Shoemaker.
Coons.
One point of discussion, I would ask that that bid be inserted into the minutes as it has been in past years, so there's a reference back to it. Because those bids, for the years that I've been on the board, have always been part of the packet, so we could review what the bid was, and it wasn't this time, so I would ask that it be inserted into the minutes.
So I will put on here, please insert minute or bid into minutes.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All these people gotta let me down here.
Coons.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Feldkamp.
Yes.
Cornett.
Yes.
Coleman, yes. Motion carries 7-0.
All right.
You showing up late, it's messing me up. there,
New
Mr. Feldkamp.
business, item 9A, athletic training contract renewal. I'm sorry, did I miss that?
Just approve the bread.
We approved the bread, we need to do the Prairie Farms.
All right,
now.
does anybody want to make the motion for Prairie Farms? Mr. Shoemaker and Mr. Wolf, I'm sorry.
when we get to discussion, I'd like to have that curriculum split inserted into the minutes.
One time I forgot one, I missed one. I had to come back after graduation and sign it. Could have been on here, I forgot. Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Felkamp.
Yes.
Cornett.
Thought about leaving it
Coleman,
open
yes.
time.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right. So now can we put it as athletic training? Yeah. All right, we have one option this year.
Peggy, do you want to talk about this? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Really, no, there's not much to talk about. That's really the only option we have, and I want to make sure that we have training service for the next year. Next year, I would like to revisit.
This is a one-year contract?
Correct.
Okay.
Any performance issues this year, Peggy?
I'm sorry, I can only hear Alan.
I'm talking to you. Was there any performance issues related to your contract?
I'm sorry, Rob. I say it's muffled. I can't. Can Alan repeat what you said?
Were there any performance issues with the current provider that you're renewing last year?
I don't think they covered the bases when Lisa, our trainer, went on maternity leave. We had to have an event without having a trainer here. I don't know if you remember, that's the night we had a kid from another team have a concussion on the floor, and then we had someone in our stands who had to be hauled out in an ambulance. But other than that, no, I'm very pleased with their trainer that we have. I would just like to have more services more often, but to do that through Sarah Bush, they would charge us more, and I don't feel like we need to spend more money than the $6,000 that we're spending right now. So.
I'm sorry, Ross, I didn't catch it.
The one note you mentioned that when Lisa, I think the name on maternity leave, absence, I guess, of training, so I want to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Peggy.
Understanding we don't have another option at this point. We either renew with Sarah Bush or we don't have a.
I was gonna say, I was wondering what the performance had, with the one competitor that was last year, are they still around?
They're not actually, they are not operating a new contract.
Very good.
In my understanding that there is a lot of significant financial issues in that organization right now. And so they're not in position to offer free services, additional services. I don't know if they've withdrawn their contract anywhere, but they're not extending it.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Coleman made a motion to continue with services, Mr. Wolf, second.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Shoemaker. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Cornett.
Yes.
Coleman. Yes. Motion carries.
All right, then I believe the last item is new business B, dance coach potential hire. As an action item, the administration would like to see, they recommend we hire Carly Dorr to be our dance coach. Mr. Cornett, Mr. Millville. Is it a really dumb question? But on these, whenever I click on my S, it doesn't give me the option to log out, and I'm always worried that anybody that opens my computer can log into my, why won't it let me log out? Thank you.
Okay. Kuntz.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Felkamp.
Yes.
Cornett.
Yes.
Coleman, yes. Motion carries 7-0 for Carly.
All right, is there any other business that should be before us tonight that I am not aware of? All right, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Felkamp, second. Mr. Sorry, call you Cornett. The other one, Mr. Wolf. Thank you, gentlemen.
Sorry, Joe.
Coons.
Yes, please.
Melville.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Feldkamp.
Yes.
Cornett.
Yes.
Coleman, yes. Motion carries 7-0.
See you guys next Wednesday. Thank you.
Two days left, I think.
You're just gonna help on that night of.